Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Anastasia here with another Teen Mom recap. So sorry this one is a little late, but I did want to wait until my voice actually sounded somewhat normal again, so thankfully you can hear it's coming back. I know I just faltered right there, but as you can hear it's coming back a little bit, so I sound a lot better. So this episode starts with Chelsea, who is vacationing in Colorado with Cole and the kids. They all go tubing while she sits in the car with Lane. They rented a cabin with Rochelle, who is this mommy vlogger from YouTube, who I suspect is very excited that this trip with Chelsea is about to double her views and become her most watched video. Rochelle talks about how it's hard to meet friends who are moms, especially being a stay-at-home mom, and how their lives are so boring that they should use this app called Mom Friends, where moms find friends in their area, which sounds like a shady as hell app, but neither one admits to using it, so. Brianna and Shirley have a chat. Brianna says that her and John's relationship is going well. It just sucks that they're so far away apart, yet they're not really committed enough to move closer to each other yet. He's coming down to Orlando soon to meet her mom and the girls. She hopes that her mom doesn't ask him too many questions, and she knows that if Nova doesn't like him, then it's game over. She says that Nova has never seen her be intimate with someone, which, God, I hope not, so that she's going to pretend that they're just friends in front of her. She says she would never pick a man over her child, which is why I'm not too sure why she's friends with Janelle. Speaking of picking a man over your kids, Addie tattled to Leah that the twins had said some mean things about Jason during a sleepover. After he set them to bed, Allie said that she wanted to pinch Jason, but Gracie isn't playing. She said that she wanted to poison Jason, but when Leah confronts the girls on it, they deny ever saying it. Also, they have a cheer competition tomorrow, and when Leah says that Jason is going, the girls are like, no, no! Leah just thinks it's so funny. She's like, haha, nana nana boo boo, Jason's going whether you like it or not. Real mature, Leah. Why don't you listen to their opinion, because I don't think they're joking. When Leah starts to realize that they aren't really just messing around, she goes all mom mode and says, Jason is never mean to you guys, you know, it's just an adjustment. And us living together is eventually going to happen no matter what, so you might as well get used to it. Just very little consideration for her children's feelings. Kayla's been focusing on her sister Michaela's baby shower. She's been planning it mostly with her sister-in-law, but still not talking as much to Michaela as she'd like to. She chats with her friend Becky and reveals that everything is all good when her and Michaela hang out, but between those visits, they hardly talk at all. Becky likens it to the type of friendship where you don't see each other often, but when you do, it's like no time has passed. That's really nice, but then she also gets realistic and tells Kale that she just sucks at talking to people. MTV pulls up the dramatic white text on black screen for this next scene, and the message is that David texted producers that he will show up to all Janelle shoots that MTV plans to purposely shut them down, and thus MTV can no longer travel to her home state of North Carolina to film her. What is even the point anymore? You can't film her husband, you can't film in her home state. MTV needs to just pull a Farrah here. It's just getting so ridiculous, the sheer number of hoops that they are willing to jump for just to film this blazing dumpster fire. I don't know why they fired Farrah, but continue to keep Janelle. She seems to be making everything even more difficult for them than Farrah ever did. They do throw a little subtle shade though. They're showing some tweets from people on Twitter talking about the situation, and there's a couple tweets in there talking about how MTV should fire Janelle. You just know the editor was typing into the Twitter search bar, MTV fire Janelle, yes, please. Amber Portwood, who is the fellow dumpster fire of Teen Mom OG, also took to Twitter to comment on the situation, simply saying that there's a man that needs an intervention, and that no one deserves abuse, and she knows this because she has been an abuser and abused in the past. Kristen FaceTimes Janelle since they can't film her in person, and Janelle says she feels bad for her mom. While Janelle supposedly has expertise in dealing with the haters, seeing as how no one likes her, her mom isn't used to the negative attention. She's also pissed that Amber is voicing her opinion on the matter, as according to Janelle, she's on a whole different show and it doesn't make sense. She's on Teen Mom 2, Janelle. It's the same series, Teen Mom 2 was just the better sequel. In fact, Amber is pretty much the Janelle equivalent of OG, just the show's trademark train wreck. Janelle even admits that David and Amber have met before at some reunion and they hung out just fine. She's angry that Amber went off on Twitter instead of contacting her personally, and she doesn't trust her anymore. Chelsea's trip seems to be going well. Everyone just plays in the snow and has a good time. Chelsea herself sounds a little sick. Her and Rochelle talk about how all their friends don't have kids, so the dynamic is different. Brianna is nervous for John to meet her family. She tells Roxanne not to barrage him with questions and scare him off. Roxanne warns Brianna to protect herself, and Brianna agrees to be cautious. I don't think she was speaking in a general sense with that. I think she might as well have thrown some condoms at Brianna to get that message across. Roxanne also says she's not going to go crazy on the guy unless he gets desperate like Javi. Pathetic. Leah heads over to the cheer competition, and she says Jason loves the girls, and Gracie's like, yeah, he loves me best because I look like you. I really hope that's something that she just made up in her head and not something that he said to her, because that'd be next level creepy. And then Leah says that Jason has accepted her baggage, and she comes with a lot of baggage, most of it being you guys. Like, damn, Leah, you're not supposed to say that to them. Someone should have fired back, like, what about your little drug problem, Leah? Is that baggage too? Leah accuses Addie of lying about what the girls said about Jason, but Gracie finally admits that they did say it, but they were just joking. Leah thinks that it was just because Jason told them to go to bed early, but according to her, we're the parents and we say what goes, so you gotta listen. No. One of you is the parent. The other one, not so much. Not even a step-parent since you aren't married. Then Leah's like, alright, but you guys love Jason in the end, right? Crickets. Dead silence. When nobody says anything, Leah's like, yes or no, just say yes or no. Allie shakes her head and says no really lowly, and then Gracie's like, yeah, I do, like really lowly. And Leah's like, oh, you do? And she says, sure, like sarcastically as possible. Addie says she likes him as a friend, but she doesn't like him. Kayla and her friend fly to Dallas for Michaela's baby shower. She's afraid her sister won't be prepared for the test that the baby's going to bring to their relationship. However, she knows her sister has a better support system than she ever had. Amber goes on Instagram Live and talks about how David is bipolar and a bitch, which he is, but this is the pot calling the kettle black if I've ever seen it. So then Janelle goes on live and says, let's not talk about your husband, Amber, how he's always the one taking care of your child in your episodes. Not you, but I don't say anything. You just did, though. She says you went to jail for domestic violence and you're pointing fingers at my husband, and she tells Amber to shut up about her family. Both immature, but I don't really know what else Amber expected here. Brianna picks up John, and they go inside to let him meet Brittany and the girls. He's wearing a sweater that says Dick Man for some reason, spelled with a Y, which is a little weird. I don't know what it stands for, if it's like a company or city or something. But he seems to get along with everyone really well, actually. The kids seem to like him, and he even brought Stella presents, which is more than her own father did for her. Stella isn't wearing a shirt because Brittany was sick of cleaning poo-poo off of it, so Brianna says, come on, let's go find you a shirt, Stella. Maybe while she's at it, she can find a new shirt for John, too. When Chelsea gets back from her trip, they found out that their house was broken into. They had walked in and noticed that things were out of place, and Cole had everybody hide in a room while he looked around to make sure nobody was still in the house. No one was, but they just had ransacked the closet and taken a lot of Chelsea's purses and jewelry. They reported it to police, but they haven't found any leads. Aubrey has been sleeping on the couch since it happened, and Chelsea wants to move, and so does Aubrey. Cole says that it isn't that easy to just pack up and move, and Chelsea just gives him this death glare. Recently, Chelsea's been staying at her mom's during the day as she's scared to stay at home. The cops, when they had reported it, had asked her their relationship with Adam, but Chelsea says no, it couldn't have been him because he would have taken tools, if anything. Maybe they remind him of himself. In fact, thieves didn't even take laptops or TVs, all they took was her jewelry and bags. She felt guilty as she had posted on social media that they were going to be gone, although another house near her was also robbed at the same time. This has made her anxiety a lot worse, and she doesn't know what she would have done if she was there alone with 2 kids. Kale comes to Michaela's baby shower and meets her boyfriend Carson. Kale jokes that she's jealous of the baby shower, but I think there's a little bit of truth in that. Kale pulls her sister aside to have a sisterly chat and tells her that she's afraid her sister isn't ready and that it's going to be really hard for her. But Michaela doesn't have any doubts, and she seems almost dismissive of Kale or thinks she's being a little dramatic. Still, Kale says that she can call her or text her whenever she needs help. Leah sits to talk with Jason and tells him what the twins said that they wanted to do to him. At first he jokes about it, and Leah admits that she is a little bit of a pushover compared to him. Yeah, we can tell. But then Jason gets more serious and says that he is not a pushover, and he compares raising kids to training a puppy or a horse, which I thought was a little disturbing. They're not animals. And he says, not to break them, but there has to be an alpha in this house. Any dude who calls himself an alpha is not an alpha. And it's also just really weird. Once again, I see where Leah is coming from when she calls him overly controlling. They hadn't even been together for a year at this point, and he's already playing stepdad and calling himself an alpha male. And he just keeps digging himself deeper and deeper as he keeps talking. He's like, if the girls keep on talking, I'll just shut off the power to the house. A little bit extreme. Leah just sits there and is like, well, none of my exes did that, so I guess it's just a transition to them. Up next for John is the last boss battle before he can get to Brianna's bedroom, which is Roxanne. She does in fact ask him a ton of questions while they eat out at a restaurant, but nothing too crazy, just his ethnicity, age, if he likes kids, if he has any kids. When he says not yet to having kids, and says that he's afraid of child support, Roxanne goes all crazy-eyed. He knows he messed up there, so he goes to the bathroom for a minute, and Roxanne tells him to be careful not to slip and fall. Probably trying to do a little reverse psychology there. Despite that, when he's gone, she says that he seems nice, and she actually does like him. Nathan and his girlfriend Ashley talk. He says that he always sees Janelle defending David, but he doesn't do the same for her. Ashley thinks that Janelle would be actually stable if she were alone, because it's only her choice of partner that's unstable. Nathan's like, I know her better than that. Not only will she never be stable, she's never single anyway to find out. Janelle hoped that Amber would stop talking to her after she posted her response, which is actual insanity to think that Amber would ever crawl back to her hole after being insulted. But Amber just went back on live and had an absolute bipolar meltdown. screaming about how I was the pilot episode. Bitch this, bitch that. I don't care if David beats your ass. And then she talks for the 1,000th time about how she's been to prison. It was just full-blown psycho if you saw the video. And that's all for this episode of Teen Mom 2. Do you think that John will get along well at Brianna's family? And do you think Leah cares that her girls don't like Jason or realizes that he's being a little crazy? And what do you think of the back and forth between Amber and Janelle? Who is worse? Leave a comment down below and make sure to subscribe for Teen Mom recaps every week.